So here we start. Many people have been asking me about what off-the-grid homes are. I am an architect and I'm also a singer, so I'll just start by singing a few lines and let's see how you feel about it and what thoughts do come in your mind when you listen to these words, to these lyrics. ये हंसी वादियाँ ये खुला आसमां आ गए हम कहाँ है मेरे जाने जा इन बहारों की दिल की कमी फिर गई मुझको तुम जो मिले हर खुशी मिल गई ये हंसी वादियाँ ये खुला आसमां. Okay, what are the thoughts that came into your mind when I was singing these lyrics? What were the pictures that came in your mind? One is obviously having a good partner along with you, but roaming in the greenery, roaming amongst the mountains, amongst those huge white trees, and roaming in the lovely blue skies, under the lovely blue skies. So what you were imagining was nature, or what you were seeing around you was nature. Am I right? Now I want to ask you, nature is so beautiful. All of us love nature. When we have a weekend off, we just go to a hill station or we go to a serene place to, take time away from our busy lives. Um, but are we truly doing much to preserve this nature? Is the Mother Earth happy with the way we are using her resources? Is she really, what do you call, going to support us the way we are living forever? The answer is no. And the reason that answer is no is because we have, the population of of the human species on Earth has gone beyond limits. Right now we are 7.4 billion people living on this planet, and we are, thrashing the earth. We are literally thrashing the earth, for our greed and for our convenience and for our comfort. And the time has come. Probably the talk that I'm doing is also too late. Many people have already started, but the time has come for us to live in harmony with nature. To build, to eat food, to build, to wear, to use products, everything that is in harmony with nature. Not everything that we use in our lifestyle will be. We also have to consciously think: are we using everything that is there in our lifestyle? Do we really need all those things? Where is it that we can reduce? Where is it that we can reuse the materials? Where is it that we can recycle the materials? So we have to start with 4 principles. One is minimalism. Minimalism means understanding our needs and understanding the difference between our needs and our greeds. Okay, so minimalism, and along with that comes reduce, reuse, and recycle. Unless we do this, we will not be able to support the existence of our own species on the planet. The planet will go on for years again because it has been existing here. It's we who have to struggle for our survival and for the survival of our future generation. Um, I'm sure you're aware of the fact that the UN, the in 2017, the UN gave a warning that we don't have more than 12 years to contain the limit of the global temperature to more than 1.5 degrees Celsius. If the temperature goes beyond that, there's going to be a catastrophe. There's going to be poverty. There's going to be drought. There's going to be floods. There's going to be extreme heat, and and frankly, to be very frank, we are already seeing signs of it happening in our daily lives. I mean, the way Chennai was flooded, and the way Maharashtra was flooded a few days ago, and it's alarming. There are times when rains come without signals, even in the times of winter or even in summer. You can see showers of rain. So and so basically, to contain all this and to to live in sync with nature, I, as an architect, have come over here to give you idea about how we can live in an off-grid manner. Now, what does off-grid mean? What does an off-grid home or an off-grid bungalow means? It means living as self-sufficient as possible, as independently as possible within your own resources, within your own premises, without depending on the outside supplies. That doesn't mean you need to have a bungalow to live this kind of a lifestyle. If you look at the principles that I'm going to talk about today, you can implement this in your society also. You can implement this in your college campus, in your hospitals, everywhere. So wherever possible, if you cannot implement 100% of it, at least try implementing 70% of it, or 50%, or 10 or 20%, but start implementing. We need to take as less energy as possible from from nature, you know and even if we are taking, we need to reuse it and keep utilizing it for our needs. So what does off the grid home mean? Off the grid home means there are around 7 to 8 features of this. The first thing is, when you design your house, when you're designing a bungalow, I will start with bungalows because we are specifically targeting that area today. See to it that you design the orientation of the building in such a way that your house gets maximum sunlight, it gets maximum ventilation, it has enough protection from the monsoon winds and from the monsoon rains. It has, it is also, implementing the passive solar design techniques in such a way. Okay, in the summer, you don't feel as hot as you are supposed to feel if you are living in a city, and in the winter, you don't feel as cold. So, if you see the traditional Rajasthani palaces or the Mughal architecture, they used to have courtyards in their buildings. They used to have those lovely landscape which were, having water fountains and water pockets, as much water pockets as possible. And they used to have smaller windows so that and thicker walls. The walls that they used to have at that time was as good as 1 meter thick. You could actually bury yourself in that wall, and people used to do that. The kings used to do that at times. You know the story of Anarkali, don't you? But those thick walls were acting as thermal insulation, and they were built with natural materials, local materials, not with concrete and steel that we are doing these days. So try to design the direction first. Put the direction of the house in such a way that it can get maximum sunlight. Secondly, implement as many courtyards and your window systems or your glazing systems in such a way that you are able to what do you call you're able to contain that heat, or you're able to let the heat go off. So this is one principle. And many people who have started building their houses in such a way nowadays are so happy with their designs that they don't even need ACs. And there are many people who don't even put lights in the mornings. Till evening 7 or 6 o'clock, they don't need any lights in their house. So that's because their houses are so well designed. Uh, so that is one principle, that is, you have to look at the design. Secondly, you have to look at getting energy from uh, instead of getting energy from the government, from the electrical grid that is outside, install solar panels in your house. And install solar panels and what do you call uh, harvest the energy from the sun, and convert it into electricity. These are not very new terms. These are terms that are popular, and they have been getting popular since the past 12 to 15 or 20 years. But many and the systems were very expensive earlier, but many people have started using it in their buildings, in their factories, and in their houses also. In the many societies have also started implementing solar panels. So use solar panels to help you with your water heating system for your bathrooms. So use solar panels to help you generate your AC. First of all, try to reduce as much AC as possible, but still, in cases of extreme times, if you really need, then the solar panel should be able to suffice you. Generally, a family of four and 1,000 square feet bungalow, with its daily requirement, they don't require more than 8 to 10 kW unit per day. And to install a solar panel to supply that much energy on a regular basis, you would require around, say, 4 to 5 lakhs of rupees. And but if you reduce the batteries, the solar system comes with battery, where the battery stores the electricity for the night time. And what do you call because after 6 or 7 there's no sun, so it stores the electricity in the night time. And that can be reused, that can be used for the night activities. But if you do not want to use the batteries, and if you want to reduce your cost, you can also go and adopt the grid tie system. The grid tie system is basically you keep a meter which is connected to the MSEB grid. MSEB is Maharashtra State Electricity Board for those who are outside of Maharashtra. And let the energy be stored with the government. You are harnessing the solar energy, but let it be stored with the government. If you use 1200 units per month, okay, and suppose if your solar panels are generating 1500 units in a month, you will be you will have extra 300 units stored in the with the government. And the same is the case vice versa. Suppose if you end up using 1500 units a month, and the government and your solar energy has been only 1200 units a month, then you will be charged for only those 300 units rather than the entire 1500 units that you've utilized. In this case, the cost of the battery is eliminated. Also, the cost of changing the batteries is also eliminated. So although I have started the topic on off the grid, but as and when I did my research, I realized it's better, because the government also wants you to use as less water resources as possible. So they are encouraging you to use solar energy. So they are supporting you by doing this. So you can go for a grid tie system also. Third point that I wanted to tell was about rainwater harvesting. Uh, Now, rainwater harvesting is basically nothing like, there is, umpteen amount of rain, happening in several areas. There are places where there is no rain, but there are places like in Maharashtra where I stay on Manorwada Road, and we are blessed with good amount of rain. But should we be, just because there is surplus of rain, should we be letting it go waste, or not taking care of it? Because sooner or later, in 2020, 21 cities in India are going to be out of groundwater rain. So somewhere down the line, rainwater harvesting is much more important in cities than even the local rural areas. So please collect. Rainwater harvesting is nothing but, again, it's a very popular term which most of you are aware of, but it's nothing but collecting the rain that you get from Mother Nature, and putting, designing it in such a system that it goes into tanks, it goes into treatment plants, or wherever you have designed it. It can be connected, it can go to the borewell also, you can recharge your borewell. And so that's called and then you can utilize that water for your needs uh, throughout the year, so you won't have any deficiency of water in your place. um, Fourth thing that I'm saying is, when you're building up your house, I know all of you have, a lot of imagination. I want this kind of a house, it should look like this. I want that kind of a house, it should look like this. But today, we need to understand that along with beauty, again, sustainability is much more important. So, we probably cannot afford to have uh, large quantities of marble flooring, or large quantities of Spanish tile in the bathrooms, and what I'm trying to say is, build with local materials. Don't get very um, greedy and get very pulled or get attracted to things that are outside your area. Uh, the local things available in your own plot, if you're building a bungalow, is the three most basic things: is wood, stone, and mud. So try to build with those. Definitely try to use as less wood as possible, because again, that's a depleting resource. And a very good quality tree, especially when you want to build furniture like teak wood, takes 40 years to grow. So even if you cut down one tree, you're going to have to replace it with 10, 20 more trees, but it's going to take 30 or 40 years to grow. So use as less wood as possible. Even if you want to use wood, use it from within your plot, and replant those areas. Uh, you can excavate the mud from your own site. Okay, so that reduces your travel footprint, your transport footprint, your carbon footprint for getting the material from outside. And there are so many different what do you call types of constructions available that can be made with mud. So there is compressed earth blocks, then there is adobe walls, then there is COB architecture, which is called cob architecture. Um, then there is the red bricks that basically is the common red brick that we see that is used by heating the brick. So try to use the material from your own land. You have stone, you can use that for fencing, for columns. Try to build from your own land. Use the materials in your own land, and see to it that most materials that you're using are biodegradable. So stone, wood, and mud is already biodegradable, but at the same time, if you're using some other materials which are needed for decoration, so see to it that those fabrics, those wall decor items, everything that you're using is biodegradable. Because in the end, the day your bungalow perishes, or it will be there for 50, 100, or 150 years also if you build it well. But the decor items, we keep on changing them. We want to have a new look every 10 years or every 5 years. But at the same time, understand that those decor items should also be either recyclable or they should be biodegradable. So and definitely plastic is a big no-no. So don't choose anything with plastic, please. That's a big a request to all of you. um, uh, Along with building with natural materials, you should now another thing, in Thailand and Bali, the bamboo plantation is very what do you call they have bamboo plantation in surplus. So there are architects over there, and I got very inspired by them. They are building their entire house with bamboos. G+2 house, G+3 house, without the use of any steel or any MS columns whatsoever. They are building their entire their campuses, which are as good as 11 to 12 acres full of campuses, school campuses out of bamboo. And it's so beautiful. So they are using their materials. Bamboo is not surplus over here in Maharashtra. So it's best to use what we have locally available over here. Uh, Third item that I wanted to talk, even in your kitchens, when you build your house, there is something called as, which is very common in the cities also, called garbage management. So this garbage management is basically, again, as I said, reduce, reuse, and recycle. So it comes in the principle of reusing and recycle. So when you segregate your garbage into dry, wet, and even in dry, if you segregate it further into paper and plastic and metal, you can give these the dry garbage you can give for recycling to nearby workshops or to nearby organizations who are looking for such materials because they really want to recycle this stuff. Or you can create something beautiful out of the dry garbage that you have if you are creative enough. And the wet garbage, you convert that into compost and let that compost be used as a natural fertilizer for your vegetable garden. Okay. Uh, and that compost, the wet garbage, can also be used to create something called as biogas. Biogas, so instead of depending on the government to get cylinders and to get LPG lines from the outside, again, this goes off the grid. So there are biogas plants available, and there's a layer of 2 tanks, and in that you have to, it has a chimney in it. So you dump your compost into it, and it converts it into biogas, and you can use it for your fuel. And in America, they are using 30% of the fuel that they are using to run cars is biodiesel. Biodiesel, for some reasons, has not taken off very well in India, uh, because it was from ethanol, and there was another plant called Jatroba plant. But they tried to encourage it, but it's still not very active. But biogas is something, which is something that you can make it in your own house if you have the proper plant. If you want, I'll put the link in the chat also as to how to make a biogas plant. You can do it. You need 3 to 4 kgs of wet waste on a daily basis to generate enough gas for your cooking requirements. Um, Another item that goes into making an off-grid bungalow is designing for gray water recycling. So gray water recycling is everything that goes down the drain from your basins, from your sinks, from your laundry, from your shower, and even from your toilets. So the water that goes from the toilet is called black water, for which you definitely require a treatment plant. And the other water is called gray water, which, if again treated properly, can be reused for cleaning purposes. It can be used for watering the plants and watering the garden in your bungalow. and it can be used to again, laundry and even wash your cars and everything. So this is called gray water recycling. If you implement gray water recycling properly, you can save as good as 70 liters per person per day, you know. So that's very effective, so try doing that also. Now the fourth, I don't know which point I am at, but now the most important thing is also food forest. Now what is a food forest? Food forest is basically an agriculture system which is mimicking the ecosystem of a forest. So there are 7 different layers of crops that you grow depending on their different heights, and the crops support each other to uh, to grow your fruits, to grow your vegetables, to grow your grains or whatsoever. So to grow your herbs also. What it means is, if you go and walk at Sanjay Gandhi National Park, or if you go to any normal forest, have you seen any gardener going and taking care of the forest over there? Have you seen anybody go there and do weeding? Have you seen anybody go there and do watering on a daily basis? No, because the ecosystem of the forest supports itself. And this is exactly how the entire planet was before we humans, started farming, and we humans, started what I call um, you know, cutting the land for our needs and everything. But this is exactly how the planet was. It never needed a Mali to take care of it. It had enough nitrogen and phosphorus and potassium to take care of itself, and to grow berries, and to grow fruits, and to grow grains also. So, and to grow many other wild trees. So this is what a food forest is about. Around your bungalow, create a food forest. There are consultants in India who will help you design one. And this is along with the vegetable patch. So your farmhouse will look like a mini forest. Okay. And after 5 to 7 years of it growing the way it's supposed to grow, you will not even have to go and take care of it. All you will have to do is, just go for your harvest and come back and, use it in your kitchen. Over here, again, you are not dependent on the market. You're not dependent on going to the sabzi wala or to the fruit wala to get your local green grocery. And definitely, it's a gradual process. It doesn't happen in a day. So you have to be patient with it. And this is another way of going off the grid. Also, try using in your own house. Try using as less as possible the cleaning products that we are using, the toiletries that we are using, the cosmetics that we are using. So there are so many DIY videos on YouTube, or there is so much information out there to make your own things. So reduce your dependency on, uh, in a way, called materialistic stuff. But I will not say the cleaning products as materialistic. We do need to maintain a certain level of hygiene because we are used to that. We are not, you know. We need to look at our environment also. So try and find out recipes for making your own shampoo. Try and find out recipes for making your own soap, for your own, creating your own makeup. I'm myself learning that right now. Try and find recipes on how to make a cleaning detergent, how to use Rita, how to use the bioenzymes, how to use kombucha. So there are a lot of things that you can, integrate in your own house, and thereby your dependency on the outside world will reduce for your food, will reduce for your makeup, will reduce for your toiletries, will reduce for your cosmetics. It will also reduce for the materials, because you will be building with natural materials. Again, coming back to materials also, try to, for your furniture also, if you have some old furniture, recycle those furniture, get it polished, get it treated properly, and if you want, paint it properly or polish it nicely. But reuse as much furniture that you have in your house. And there are materials like, recyclable materials like tires, and eco-friendly materials like jute and cane and bamboo. So try to build your furniture also from such items. So recycle as much material. There is newspaper, there are paper lanterns that you can use in your decor. So all these aspects go into creating an off-grid bungalow. At the same time, the lights and the water faucets that you use in your house, you can go for LED lights, and you can go for what do you call you can go for LED lights, and you can go for what do you call sensor lights. So if you're not in the hallway, and if you don't have the habit of switching off your lights, it goes off on its own. Have water sensors, faucets which have 3 to 4 what do you call uh, valves designed in such a way you can reduce the quantity of water as and when as per your need. And in malls, when we go, we have these faucets which stop within 15 seconds of us washing our hands. So you should incorporate such items in your design, such products in your design. And that's about it. So I basically was trying to tell you, I'll just run through it again. In your off the grid homes, look at the direction of your house in sync with nature. Look at plan your house accordingly, and plan it to have a proper passive solar design technique. Okay, then look at solar panels to harvest the energy that you require for your daily electricity and lighting requirements. Look at rainwater harvesting. Look at gray water recycling. Look at building with natural materials, and look at building with as much as possible recyclable materials also, even in your interior decor. Garbage, don't even call it garbage. It's basically wealth that you're creating, and you're just recycling it. So give it to recycle factories if you want, or especially for your compost, as I said earlier, use it for gardening and for your own food forest purposes. Depend on biogas for your fuel, create a plant for that, design a plant for that, so that you get biogas into your premises. And create a food forest around you, with flowers and with wild trees and with trees that give you enough fruits. And use sensor lights, use water saving faucets. And yeah, so basically these are the main principles. There is a lot within each of these category also that you need to look into, but that we can go in detail once, if you want to, we start designing your house. If your architect starts designing, then you can go into detail as to what type of rainwater harvesting system do you want, what type of faucets do you want, what type of recyclable materials do you want, how much mud do you want your house to be built up with, how much stone do you want your house to be built up with, what type of window panes do you want, where is it that you want the courtyard. So there is a lot of detailing in each of the topics that I've told, but today was just a general topic on what an off the grid bungalow means, it's just not a bungalow, it can be any structure, as I said earlier, any G+2 or any G+3 structure. And even in your buildings, see to it that in these principles that I've covered, what is it that you can utilize and how much can you utilize. So somewhere, like, there are people who tell me, oh, I have nothing but just a small balcony, what will I grow over there? Start. The answer is start. Just start growing. You never know, at least 7 to 8 plants you can grow over there, and you might, if you use the height very well, you can grow as good as 10 to 12 plants also. So start somewhere. Okay. And in your decor, please don't buy things made out of plastic, no matter how attractive they look. Okay. And that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed the talk. This was my first talk.